So hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lucy and today I've got a recommended reads video for you all. Now I don't believe I've ever done one of these videos, which sounds a bit ridiculous, but basically these are all the books that I'm currently obsessed with, that I have read recently and that I absolutely love. These are not my all-time favourites. I'll probably film a video like that if you guys want to know what my all-time favourite books are. Do let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see that video. But for today, these are just the latest books I'm currently obsessed with. And the first book that I can't stop thinking about, I've literally just finished this and it's amazing. And it is The Death House by Sarah Pinborough. This book is essentially a dystopian Fault in Our Stars. It is about this world where I think it's set in kind of England, but it's obviously a dystopian England and way ahead in the future. But in this dystopian England, there is this plague that only affects those under the age of 18. Once you've passed 18, you are no longer susceptible to getting this plague or this virus, and so you are safe. But if you are under the age of 18, you are regularly tested to see if you have this kind of gene that will indicate that you will get the virus, you will contract it and you will die. And it's about this boy called Toby. Toby is kind of really unassuming, and one day he's just, about to prepare to go out to a party to enjoy his teenage years, when he gets tested and it turns out he has this virus, and he is sent to this place that is known as the Death House. The Death House is essentially a place where they keep all of the ill children, and they're not ill to start off with, they're normal kids who just happen to have this faulty gene. But once they show sign of illness, they are taken to this place in the loft of the Death House called the sanatorium, and nobody comes back from the sanatorium. So our main character Toby lives in the Death House and he's kind of really not enjoying life there. Of course he wouldn't. He starts off this book really emotionless and disconnected, and then this girl comes into the Death House and her name is Clara. And at first Toby is completely unaffected by Clara. He just sees her as the annoying new girl, and from then on sparks fly and there is one hell of a love story. This is predominantly a love story, but it's also got elements of such chilling dystopia, and the setting of the Death House is really, really creepy, and there are a lot of mysteries that kind of pass unexplained, and some of the things we never find out about, we never get answers to some of the things in this book, but that doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the book and the enjoyment of the plot and the story. And basically this is the most poignant and beautiful book I've read in a long, long time. And what I love about this book so much is that it's not what it appears to be. You kind of expect Sarah Pinborough, the author, to dwell on the kind of more mysterious elements of the plot, so to dwell on the virus, to dwell on the Death House, to kind of create all these things that you really need answers to, but at the heart of this is just, it's about finding the beauty of life and making the most of the time that you have left in the world. And the message beyond this is really pretty incredible. I adored this book and I really think you will too. The next book is something that you will probably not have heard of. It's not really a book that's very popular or common on BookTube. I've not really seen anyone make videos about this book, but it is one of the most underrated books I have ever seen, and it's one of the best books that I've ever read. It is Shadows by Paula Weston. Now this is the first book in the Raphael series. There are to be 4 books. I think this is the first one, then there's Haze, then there's Shimmer, and then Burn comes out in the autumn. Basically, this is about badass angels. I mean, what more can you want really in life? This book is about a girl called Gabby, and Gabby lost her twin brother in a car accident, and from then on she's really just been trying to carry on and get on with life. That is until she sees this boy called Rafa in a bar, and at first she notices him, she really recognises him, then she realises that this is a person that she's been dreaming about for ages now, and in the literal sense, she has literally been dreaming of him. From that point on, there is this big adventure, and this book just sends you on a roller coaster ride of emotions and feels, and Gabby learns that her memories are not what she thinks they are, that she has this other secret life that she never even knew about. I think if you've read Angel Fall and similar angel books, if you like Hush Hush, then you will be guaranteed to like this, but this is even better than Hush Hush. I would say this is definitely aimed at an older, more mature YA audience. There is a lot of swearing, there's a lot of sexual references in this book, But I would completely say that if you enjoy angel mythology or angel literature, you will love this. Even if you don't, even if you just like rip-roaring adventure and gorgeous characters and beautiful literary boys, then you will like this because this is amazing. The next book is a book that isn't actually out yet, so I feel like I'm cheating you guys slightly because you can't go out and grab it after this video, but it is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. I have featured this book in a lot of videos so far, which is insane because it's not out yet, as I said. But I've also filmed a review that will come up closer to the publication date on the 7th of May. But let me just assure you guys that this book will blow you away. It will change your perspective of books and it's just incredible. So basically, if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, which might be possible, this is the latest book from Sarah J Maas, whose brilliant Throne of Glass series just blew everyone out of the water, and it's really kind of big on YouTube and in the book blogger community. Everybody loves that series. But I was more excited, even though I love Throne of Glass, I was so excited for this book, mainly because it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it's just really, really awesome. The premise sounds brilliant. It's about Feyre, who is a huntress, and her family is really poor, and she doesn't have a lot of money, so she is the main source of income for this family, which means that she has to go out and hunt for her food and to feed her family. One day, when she's hunting, she stumbles across this massive wolf, and thinking or not thinking, she kills it, and it turns out to be a fairy. And from there on just begins this beautiful story and this powerful story. And let me tell you, Sarah J Maas manages to pack a lot into 400 or 500 pages. There are so many levels to this book, and I will talk about it more in my review that's coming up. But when this comes out, guys, you need to read it. It is so good, and I can't even explain how much I love this book, how much I love this author, and yeah, you guys need to read this because this is fantastic. The next book is not a YA book. I know, I'm shocked too. But it is The Kingmakers Daughter by Philippa Gregory. This is a historical fiction book. I talk about this book quite a lot. I talk about this author quite a lot because I adore Philippa Gregory. I love her books. Anything she writes is just gold in my hand, essentially. This is about the Neville family, and it's set during Plantagenet, England. So Edward IV is on the throne, and it is about the Kingmaker's daughter, hence the title. And it's about this girl called Anne Neville, who was the daughter of the Earl of Warwick. This is Anne Neville's story. So this is the story about her childhood and how she is living through the Wars of the Roses, and it's a very kind of turbulent time. Like, this book is just, it switches sides quite a lot because there's a lot of deposing kings and queens, there's a lot of political upheaval. As you may know, this isn't a spoiler because this is historical fiction, so you can't really spoil it because it's all based on fact, or primarily based on fact. But Anne Neville ends up marrying Richard III, who I am a little bit obsessed with. I must say that I really enjoy any books about Richard III. I enjoy lots of documentaries about Richard III. I'm a bit of a Ricardian at heart, and especially in the light of recent discoveries where Richard III's body was discovered and he's recently about to be interred at Leicester Cathedral. He's been reburied. So when I read this book, I felt like I was completely in that time period, especially because I adore this period, but also Philippa Gregory's writing style is so beautiful and so involving, and it really, really draws you into the time period, which I think is brilliant. I must say though, with all historical fiction, you must take it with a pinch of salt because the author has their own perspective, the historian has their own perspective, so you can never really take anything in historical fiction as truth. But that's okay. I really enjoy Philippa Gregory's historical writing style, and if you like historical fiction, definitely pick this book up, but also pick up the series of this. The first book is The White Queen. It's the first book in the Cousins War series, and it's a great series, honestly. And the final book that I want to recommend to you is a book that I posted a review on, so you can hear how much I rant and rave about it. It is The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. Now, this book is brilliant. I've done a review of this, and I blabbered on about it for a long, long time. I will link that down in the description bar so you can check that out and hear me talk about it in much more detail. But this book is fabulous. It is so brilliant, and it's about this town called Fairfold where fairies exist. They are, you know, full blown, they're out in the open. The story is centered around this girl called Hazel and her brother Ben. And Hazel's a really, really badass character, and there's loads of stuff that happens in this book, but telling you would be spoilers, of course. All I can say about this book is this is the first full Holly Black book that I have ever read, and I will be reading a lot more Holly Black now. I especially love it whenever she talks about fairies, and I love fairy mythology and anything like that. So I absolutely adored this book, and it's full of plot twists and plot turns, and it completely surprises you at many a point. But I must say, what I enjoyed about this book the most was how powerful the female character Hazel was. She was amazing and really inspirational, and I love characters, especially female characters, who kind of break the mold and completely subvert, you know, stereotypes. And in this book, it just does that. It's amazing, and I think you will love it. So guys, I think that's enough ranting and raving for one day. But if you have any recommendations, please do leave them down in the comments bar. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye!